Rak is one of the most interesting characters in Tower of God. He's so much more than just a goofy gag character that they display him as. Rak comes from a species called the Wraithraiser, and they live in a place in the tower where only turtles and their species exist. So that's why he calls every other character a type of turtle. Because where he comes from in the tower, that's all that exists, so he just thinks everybody else is just a different type of turtle. When it comes to physical strength, his species is extremely strong, and they have a high Shinsu resistance. That's because they have to swim through a high Shinsu current to hunt the turtles. Also, his species is one of the largest species in the tower, which allows him and his species to have what we call a compression license. This license is a power gifted to them from a floor administrator, which basically allows them to change their size so they can navigate easier through the Shinshu on the different floors. Because when you think about it, them being so large creates so much extra drag on the floor with Shinshu that it makes them slower and it makes them a lot harder to move. So by shrinking his size, he's able to move a little bit easier throughout the tower. Only species who are larger than life are able to get this ability. So that's why you see Rak in his small form all the time. And he only changes back to his normal big form when it's time for him to get active in a battle situation. But also the species that Raks come from are called the native ones. And the native ones are able to rule over all elements in the tower, similar to like an avatar. And the lore behind the native ones is actually kind of interesting. There was once a giant in a tower that split himself up into 5 beings, and each being is able to control one specific element. And the native ones had direct descendants. And those direct descendants shared the same abilities that the native ones had. Rak is a direct descendant of one of the native ones, the stone one to be specific. And some of the native ones' direct descendants were companions with Jihad and the 12 great family heads. And they were known to be formidable people within the tower. But most of them were exterminated by Jihad. And some of the ones that were able to escape the extermination were cursed. And the curse involved 3 things. One curse was that they were born with both male and female parts and would lose their reproductive ability. The second one was their original power would be sealed off. And the third one would be that they would have stillbirths. Jihad did this so that their species would die off and there would be no way of them coming back. Like I said, Rak is one of these people. And the curse that he had that's suspected is the second one, which is his power is sealed off. Like I said earlier, the direct descendants are able to use the element that was passed down to them. For Rak's case, he can manipulate stone and earth. So he's able to reinforce himself with stone and earth to add an extra layer of a shield to him, or he can use them as projectiles in an attack way as well. I think the lore behind Rak is so interesting and it hasn't been played out too much in the manhwa yet, but it's definitely setting up for him a gigantic power boost already than the one he got most recently. But when it's all said and done, he can definitely be one of the most formidable people in the tower if he keeps it up.